Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, seal and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Want to train like a pro? DGS Ninja has you covered with obstacles designed by top athletes. Kevin Carbone, Matt Bradley, Tom Alberti, and Brett Sims. Whether you're dialing in your technique at the gym or training at home, DGS Ninja equipment is built for performance, durability, and safety. Train with confidence. Train with DGS Ninja. Find obstacles, rigs, mats, and more on dgsninja.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my chalk bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slab chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slab chalks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Here at Stage 4 Designs, we are all about innovation and athlete safety. We've been doing this since 2015, designing the most innovative obstacles in the sport, and now with our partnership with the World Ninja League, we are very excited to bring some of our best designs to the highest level athletes in the world. For our process, it all kind of starts right here in our digital design. There's a much more deliberate process now in what we do, with our goal being the utmost in athlete safety. So we put everything into our digital design first, make sure it's all going to work, then we procure the parts. We learned the process and refined it to what we feel are some of the highest quality urethane products you're going to find in the Ninja space, and that all happens here at our custom-built workbench. A lot goes into our urethane, and we are very proud of the work that we do there. Everything that we build here at Stage 4 is all custom made in-house. It's not like we have a stock of a bunch of stuff. So when you do place an order with us, that order comes through and we basically build everything from scratch. Paint department is scalable. We basically hand paint most things, but some things that require a little bit more spray or bigger, we're capable of that as well. These athletes put these obstacles through some of the most rigorous circumstances that you can think of, and we want to try to plan for every contingency. We never want an obstacle to break on anybody. We always want our stuff to feel solid and not move around a whole lot, so that the athletes can trust their skills to throw the biggest moves that they possibly can on anything that we put out there. Our CNC machine handles all of most of our flat goods. It's the workhorse around here. It actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of cutting things out. We don't do any of our flat goods by hand. We make sure that everything is exactly the same and replicable, so that, you know, if you're doing courses or you have athletes that are going either head to head or the same obstacle that you're going to find at one Ninja gym is going to feel exactly the same if you go to another Ninja gym or your home for that matter, so that there's consistency with all of our product. Over the years, as we've added to our suite of products that we offer, we've realized that pipe and metalworking is becoming more and more commonplace in Ninja obstacles, and to meet that demand, we've added the ability to do that here as well. So a lot of the obstacles that you'll see that we design and develop are meant to go on truss, and pipes are a big part of that. So we've added a pipe bending station here and look for, in the future, us to offer a lot more innovative obstacles that kind of exist in that space where pipes are a big part of it. So here, everything that we put out is tested by real ninjas before it goes out. We want to make sure that our obstacles can stand all sorts of unforeseen circumstances. We know that Ninja athletes move in ways that are innovative and new, and we want to try to account for as many of those as we can and make sure that those obstacles hold up. So we test everything. Over the last 10 years, Stage 4 Designs has been committed to developing the most innovative obstacles that you're going to find, but also the safest and most reliable obstacles. Our motto here is elevating obstacles. We do feel that on this platform, we can take something that's both fun and creative, but also elevate it to an industry that deserves to stand on its own.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the WNL Premier Series Season 4. We're out here at our third qualifier at Motus Ninjas in Lee Summit, Missouri, courtesy of our three course designers TJ Rehak, Namfan, and Donovan Matoya out here in Lee Summit, Missouri. I'm absolutely loving it. This was our finals location last year for the Premier Series in Season 3, and it absolutely delivered. And I'm very, very excited to be seeing what those three brilliant minds have got for our ninjas. Hello everybody, my name is Billy Dixon. I am joined alongside my co-host for the kids division, Kane Malden. Kane, we're back and we're at Motus, a banging gym.
Absolutely. Ever since the facility move, I believe, a year or two ago, the course quality has really ramped up, as we've seen with last year's qualifier and the Premier Series finals that culminated in many champions being crowned. But this time around, we're taking it back to do an old-fashioned qualifier courtesy of our three incredible course designers, starting here with the kids division.
It's going to be absolutely insane. I love Motus and I love these competitors. Let's see how they got here. We've taken the top 25% of all the athletes from the World Championships along with their seasonal standings in their region, and everyone who fits those credentials has gotten the invitation to the Premier Series, meaning that they are able to participate in any competition they want to from all around the world in the Premier Series and all around their countries. For the courses, we're going to be having two courses that our athletes are running. We've got the placement course and the challenge course. On placement, if you fall or run out of time, your run's over. Simple as that. And what it does is it seeds the run order for the challenge course. If you get first place on the placement course, you're going last on the challenge course. And the challenge course has the athletes using 2 retries with 1 retry per obstacle. And the top 4 athletes on the challenge course automatically get a Premier Series Finals invite for Season 4 on November 20th through the 22nd at Ascend Obstacle Training in Marlborough, Massachusetts. One of the newer gyms out here. It's kind of like Motus in a sense, where they moved facilities, I think this year or last year. They just celebrated their 1-year anniversary this month, I believe, which is absolutely insane to see. So we're going to be having our top 4 athletes in every division go over to the Ascend Finals, and it's going to be absolutely insane. So Kane, we've got 10 kids. We've got 3 females and 7 males. What's the verdict?
Well, for our first 3, it should be somewhat negligible, especially on this placement course. I think the podium is pretty much guaranteed. It's just the order of which that is up for deliberation. And then for our remaining 7 athletes, they are going to be the ones that are going to have to work for their Premier Series final slots. Only 4 up for grabs, Billy.
Indeed. So everybody loves Motus. Everybody wants to compete here. So it's kind of guaranteed that there's going to be a lot of people fighting for those top 4 spots. As we see, we've got our 2 course types out here with placement and challenge being shown. On placement, if you fall, your run is over and it seeds the run order of a challenge. And on the challenge course, every athlete has 2 retries. So what that means is if you fail an obstacle, you have the ability to try it again. But if you fail it a second time, then you're finished with it, that being your course run. And if you are able to complete the obstacle on your second attempt, then you can carry on with the course. You have 2 opportunities to do that. And the top 4 athletes overall move on to the Ascend Obstacle Training Finals in Marlborough, Massachusetts for Season 4 of the Premier Series. It's going to be a very exciting time. We've got a long, long way to go before that, though. We've got multiple qualifiers that are still left to come. We're at Motus right now, so we're at the 3rd of, I believe it's 14. Yeah, 14 qualifiers out here. Next week, we're heading to Next Level Ninja in the Northeast over in New Jersey. That following week, we're heading to Austin Ninjas on the 15th. That's in Texas, so our Southerners are going to be getting a little go of Premier Series there. Carolina Ninja Academy is the week after that on the 22nd and 23rd. Vitality Obstacle Fitness is going to be an incredible one too. It's going to be up there with Motus in terms of being one of the more populated ones because that is in the same state as our finals location, that being Ascend Obstacle Training. So all of the athletes probably who are going to be training at Ascend are going to be over at Vitality trying to qualify. So that's going to be a very interesting one. True Function Ninja Training Ground in the UK in Swindon is going to be the competition I'm going to be competing at. It's in the UK. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Shout out Dion Trigg for running those comps. We have Life Force Ninja as well on the 19th and 20th of September down in Washington, or up in Washington rather. So all of our northwestern athletes are going to be having a go on Life Force. That's going to be fire. Dexterity Depot is the week after that on the 26th and the 27th. So that's down in Pennsylvania. Which is going to be fire. District 14 in France. That's a new one for the district branch. I'm absolutely very excited to see that happen. The French athletes got their first standalone qualifier last year. Typically, they would have to go over to True Function in the UK to qualify, but they can do a qualifier in their own country at District 44, which is absolutely insane. One of the best gyms in Europe. Albany Ninja Lab is after that. That's going to be over in New York. So we've got another chance for our Northeastern athletes to be qualifying there. Fit Set Ninja is going to follow that the week after in Canada, which had an amazing qualifier last year with so much Canadian talent. M-Lab Ohio is going to happen the week after that on the 24th and 25th of October, obviously in Ohio, for the final bunch of athletes to be qualifying for the Ascend Finals, which are going to happen in just over a month's time from that point. Kane, out of all of these competitions that we've got on our screen, what's your favorite one that we're going to be having? What's the one you're anticipating the most?
Life Force never disappoints. Jaden and Becca are some of the best course designers. They never let up with the creativity that I love to see from our course designers. Obviously, they've got some of the best resume out of our course designers. In fact, I believe this year at the World Championships, Life Force was crowned the best course designer for the 3rd year, if you would believe it. So yeah, they never disappoint. Obviously, international as well. I always love seeing the international ones. We just saw our Aussies compete, and it was super exciting. You know, you don't see them every day because they're so far off, obviously, from the continental US. So it's a breath of fresh air, truly.
Exactly. There are so many that I'm excited to see. I think, putting aside True Function, since that's going to be the one I'm doing, Vitality is definitely up there for their first Premier Series. They have a large amount of space, similar to Motus, I think, in terms of how many lanes they've got and how much space they've got to adjust all of their courses. Life Force, as you say, is brilliant. Dexterity Depot is the home of Matt Bradley, who has been our course designer for the past couple of years for the World Championships that we hold in Greensboro every year. So I'm excited to see what he's got going for us. He always delivers in the course side of things. And then there's going to be a lot of different competitions across the whole world that are going to carry that caliber. But we've got 7 obstacles here that are going to be on our placement course. Now, those with an eagle eye on the Motus Ninjas YouTube, they have already seen it, which is actually very, very cool. So we've been able to see what the placement course is. And overall, it's going to be one of the craziest placement courses we've seen. We've got 1:30 for all these athletes. Our 3 course designers of TJ, Nam, and Donovan have a lot to offer when it comes to the obstacles like this on their placement course. Their placement course that they made last year for the final specifically was absolutely insane. It was basically a massive link line for the elites especially. So I'm excited to see what they've got cooking up here for 2026 as qualifier.
Yeah. And anyone who was astute enough to watch the video would notice that we are seeing a very similar coordination of moves challenged in this placement course. I honestly think that if you're gutsy enough, you could just link your way through the entire thing without a single backswing to be seen.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't put it out of the question here, Kane, because again, the top 25% of all athletes are here in the Premier Series. A lot of them are going to be here at Motus here this weekend. So I'm expecting big things from our athletes here today in the Heartland region. Motus is kind of like the centerpiece of it all. And a lot of great athletes come and train here and compete here like we're going to be seeing this weekend. So if we're going to be getting a lot of people from around the country coming here, it's going to be a very, very fun time to see what they can do. I remember last year at the qualifier that Motus held, they had a bunch of people from all over the country. Honestly, we had some people from the Northeast. We had some people from Florida as well. I don't know if that's going to be the same case, but we're going to be seeing if some of the athletes from all over the US can come out here and do their best on this course, because they truly, truly deserve to showcase their skills on these courses, and I'm hyped to see what these obstacles and these athletes have in store for us here today.
Absolutely. Ninja, such a grand sport, all sorts of walks of life from all sorts of places. And all these competitors want to do is show up not only just for themselves, but for their home gym, for their coaches, for their friends and family that are tuning into the live stream. So I hope our kids here can perform at their very best. Honestly, I think it's going to be competitor against competitor here on this placement course. I don't think the time limit is really gonna be an issue for these elite kid competitors.
I mean, hey, one thing I have taken note of recently is that the elite divisions and the ones that are going to be running later on in our weekend, predominantly tomorrow, they're going to be watching these earlier streams to see what they can do. So these kids starting off the weekend have a very big responsibility when it comes to the fact that they're going to be the ones showcasing the course first. And because we're going to be seeing course changes throughout the entirety of the weekend, it's important for these kids to do very well for the others, but also for themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think these kids can perform given the circumstances. You cannot be a rookie going into Premier Series. You got to compete in at least something to get a spot secured in this illustrious group of competition. So yeah, we should be getting into a demo run. Now, something to note, I should point out, is that Calvin Johnston, actually, he qualified at Ninja U. So if he places in the top 4, it will be passed down to number 5. Now, if that scenario does pop up, we will bring it up once more, but that is something to note. You cannot qualify for Premier Series twice. Or Premier Series finals, rather.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, it's great to see that we've already got some out-of-state action represented. So you see Calvin here is from Iowa, like we saw 2 weeks ago. And the vast majority of our kids here are from Missouri, it looks like, throughout the kids females and the kid males. But I am excited to see who else we can get throughout the rest of this weekend. Now, on the run order right now, do feel free to ignore Max Phantasma onward because they're in our teen division that are going to be running later on. So it's from numbers 2 to 11 right now that you're going to be seeing our kids running here today. So that is what they're going to be up against in the grand scheme of everything here. It's going to be a very exciting time to see what this course is going to be like for all of our kids here. It's going to be fire.
Absolutely. Now, I'm wondering how this is going to go. Yeah, how low can they go, so to speak, in regards to their finishing times? Because I feel like whatever gold standard we set up is going to get demolished real fast.
Absolutely. I mean, it's up in the air on who's going to have the fastest time out of all of these kids. It's going to be exciting to see who can get the fastest time. In terms of what the course is going to look like, we have some quad steps to start things out, then some lache bars, as they say. Quite an optimal way to start things out. A spinning log, that's been in Premier Series quite a lot when it comes to Motus. I remember Season 2, predominantly, which was the final season before they moved over to this massive gym. That was wreaking havoc even in the Elite Division. So it's a long spinning log, very sensitive. We've got the frames as well, which are kind of like orange slicers that are spinning. They're kind of in a horizontal movement kind of way, which is nice to see. The roundabout is kind of like a truss. So if you guys are familiar with Ninja Warrior Germany, kind of how the swing arm works, then it's kind of like that, where you move around a truss on a massive swing that's on an arm. The TikTok is self-explanatory. If you guys were keeping a close eye on the Motus Ninja's Instagram story throughout the last week, a TikTok was shown in basically all of them. So that was some good prep for our athletes to be looking at. And that's going to follow into a massive, kind of like a boot scoot, just a massive trapeze in a sense. And then following that is going to be the final ascent, which consists of some fidget spinners, some discs, and some massive rings over to the buzzer. So as you said earlier, Kane, it can be quite a task for all of these kids to link things, but it's definitely not out of the question. I think the linking really starts to come into play in the laches and in the frames. it looks like, and maybe in the final ascent too, but we're just going to have to wait and see as our demo runner will be showing off this course in due time.
Absolutely. I think this is kind of like a multi-piece puzzle. Of course, you got to run super quick through the steps, through the spinning log. You got to get a good kickoff when it comes to the roundabout. And TikTok is a bit of a question mark because if you haven't tried it before, it can be a little squirrely to get moving back and forth, adding the momentum where applicable. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure this is not our kids' first rodeo with a TikTok, provided that their home facility has one, bear in mind. But I guess we will see a demo run, I believe, in, what, a minute or two? I think so.
Yeah, we're getting there. It looks like our athletes in the background are starting to get all warmed up in the warm-up area they have just offside of the course right there, which is nice to see, getting everything ready to go so they're ready to take on this challenge, this placement course and challenge course later on, which is going to be equally as exciting as this placement course. The placement course here is going to be full of surprises, I tell you, I think, because in the grand scheme of things, it could be a race to a buzzer, or it could be a race to an obstacle. And here we're going to have our demo runner take things on for our kids division. Let's see what we are working with.
Yeah, I don't think our kids are going to settle for racing to an obstacle. They want the full success, the full buzzer. So, yeah, let's take a look. Steps. Pretty simple, fundamental ninja obstacle that has been a part of the sport for only a paltry 26 years.
Here we go with some laches there. There are some opportunities to link here, but it looks like the distances are kind of off in terms of everything. So we're going to be seeing our athletes take on those laches soon enough. Following that is going to be the spinning log, which she just ran across. And then we have our fourth obstacle here, which is going to be our frames. They are very wide for our kids to grab onto, it looks like. So they're going to have to use all of their wingspans, even though they might not have fully developed yet. But here they are on the roundabout here, moving all the way across that truss. And then they're going to have to take a massive jump over to this TikTok, making sure that both their hands and feet touch it at the same time so they can have control. You can see you're trying to gain some momentum on either side here, which can be difficult because these kids aren't as heavy as other athletes in the sport. So they have to use all their might in order to get through this.
Yeah, such a fun challenge course, and placement course, sorry. But I think another thing that's going to come into play, as we're seeing with this demo run, is definitely our kids' frames. You know, how wide they can reach, how tall they are. Obviously, it will help in some respects with the spinning log, of course. Your lower center of gravity is going to affect the torsion of that log a little less. But on the disc, you know, actually kind of similar case.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you definitely have the ability to link things on a few obstacles here, but it's going to be very, very difficult, especially if these kids aren't as tall as others in the sport. So I'm excited to see what can truly be unlocked with our athletes coming on here today. Our first athlete, though, who's going to be taking on the course, looks like it's going to be Adeline Nichols. We just dropped. We had a dropout of a kids female slot on NinjaWorks, it looks like. So we're going to be starting out with Adeline out here. She has been doing ninja since 2020. She's representing a Tyler Smith shirt out here as well, which is fire to see.
Yeah, Adeline actually competed at the first Premier Series qualifier of the season and won. So let's see if she can go for 2 gold medals in this season alone.
Right, here we go. So our first athlete of the Motus Missouri weekend is going to be Adeline Nichols out here, setting the precedent for what's to come on these placement course runs. And getting ready to go. She got a smile on her face. She is ready to go. Here we move.
Adeline, very tall, so a link is not out of the question here, skipping the final bar and running across the log.
I'm loving this at the moment, Kane. Adeline really not wasting any time, trying to move through these slices as fast as she can to save as much time as possible. moving straight along into the frames, the roundabout, and now onto the TikTok. This might be the hardest obstacle of the course out here because you need to do a massive 180-degree jump onto that massive swinger there. Here she goes. Can Adeline make the grab? Probably going to go for one more swing here. Can she jump? Yes, she can. Going to get one more back swing to try and get to the dismount platform, and she's nearly there, Kane.
Yeah, took it in a little forward, but Adeline onto the final obstacle here. These discs are going to be tough to maneuver around, but Adeline, such a decorated ninja.
Here she goes. She knows she's got a bit of time left as well, so the time factor is really helping Adeline here. Here she is reaching out. She could probably go for the early skip if she wanted to, and there she goes, straight through the buzzer, and our first clear is our first runner, a minute 10 on the clock there. Well done to Adeline.
Yeah, such a solid run. I think the only time she left up on the table is maybe some of those extra swings on the TikTok, but overall, an ultimately strong run from Ultimate Adeline.
Absolutely great way to start out our weekend here at Motus. We're going to be having one of our Floridians out here. I think that's how you pronounce people from Florida, right? I believe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. So we have a Florida representative out here in Lila Sherman, coming out of Team Obstacle Ninja Academy. It looks like ONA being represented. Love to see it. She's energetic, 8 years old, from Orlando. She loves all sports, has a background in gymnastics, so that's definitely going to help her out here on this course. We have a lot of reach to do, a lot of bar work. Hanging is going to be a big factor. She's been doing Ninja for 2 years, and here she is already at the Premier Series, getting ready to go.
Yeah, it just looks like we need to update some things on NinjaWorks or whatever it is, but we're going to get Layla up very, very shortly. Now, something to note is that she does look a little shorter than Adeline, obviously, because she is a year younger, I'm pretty sure. It says here on her bio that she's 7 compared to Adeline, who is 8. 8 is the upper bound of the kids division. So we'll see how that affects her approach, especially so early on the laches.
Here we are now on the course. Hopefully she's able to overcome those biological debuffs early on that these athletes might face in their lives when it comes to being the kid division out here. But here she is, getting ready to go on the start line. When she's not training at ONA, you can usually find her playing with her friends or spending time with her favorite animals, her dog Ollie and her cat Ashton, who was named after one of the Ninja Kids. Ah, yeah, I get what you mean. But here she goes, going to be getting ready to go, trying to get some last-minute advice from her coach out here. Wearing 16 on the shirt. Let's see if she can complete the course in 16 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Talk about a crazy bump in time on the leaderboard. That'd be crazy.
That would almost guarantee you to be the final runner on the side, on the challenge course side of things. So yeah, a minute and a half on the clock. Going to be getting ready to go here. We got the 3 obstacles that are or 3 out of the 7 that she's going to be facing on the screen right now. We can see the frames, the roundabout, and the TikTok. I think Adeline did very well on the TikTok earlier, but let's see if Lila is able to combat to the other kid female in this group. It's going to be a very exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm just thinking about how she's going to attack these obstacles that rely so much on wingspan, where you could just static. She may have to lache. So yeah, it's interesting
here. Indeed, so it is going to be a very interesting prospect when it comes down to everything within this placement course. The challenge course is going to be a big thing afterward. When it comes down to these kids, they're going to be running this placement course with the aim to run later in their minds. And here goes Lila, moving along through now. Not a problem as she gets through onto these laches now. Not going to opt for these links, but that's honestly not too bad. She knows she's got time, and she's able to get these links properly. Hopefully moving into these next ones, keeping that momentum. Lovely.
Yeah, and skipping that final bar. I really liked her lache technique because she kept the momentum, but
not
on the log.
Nearly had it. Oh, that was really, really close to the end there for Layla Sherman. Very, very close. You could see she had like 4 or 5 steps on that log until she unfortunately slipped out on it. You can see her trying on the course through and through, but sadly that's just going to be it for her run. So she's going to be running first when it comes down to our challenge course that's going to be happening later on. It's going to be very cool to see our athletes progress on through.
Yeah, but Layla, in the here and now, she's eyeing up that jump to the trapeze bar. 4'4" in height, 4 times 4 is 16, but just about whiffs that bar.
Yeah, that seems like it might be a problem for our kid males, possibly, if it's taking out a couple of our early runners out here. Especially when it comes down to the fact that these kids are probably going to be wanting to go fast, but at the same time, they need to make sure to not rush anything. So that is going to be a big decider there. Well done to Lila, though, pulling on through, representing Team ONA on the Premier Series stage out here. But now we're going to be moving on to our first kid male runner. It's going to be Jackson Binder.
All right, yeah, our first kid male to take on the Motus course. It's, you know, it's crazy to believe that last year, I believe this kid was in his 2nd year of Ninja at the age of 7.
Crazy. It's kind of insane how much can happen in only a year. But here goes Jackson Binder. He's competed 5 times throughout the regular season of the WNL. And here he goes, trying to pull on through on these jumps. Not having a problem so far. Very powerful kicks on the front swing as well, I'm liking. Here we go. We just saw... Oh, no! Oh, wait, is he fine?
Okay,
he's fine, he's fine.
good. He made it.
Nice control. Brilliant stuff there. Nearly had us there for a second.
Yeah, the orange slice is very conducive with the orange jersey that he's sporting here, and he is swinging on through, using that other hand to match, and doing a little link. Just decided to do some quick moves on the fly. A few extra swings to the dismount, but no matter.
Here he goes around the truss arm, and now he's going to take a massive jump over to the TikTok, and sadly that's going to be it for him. Just couldn't get the control jumping onto that platform there. Did a very, very good job of that, though. Keep trying to get that control, but just couldn't get it there. Let's going to have another look here. Yeah, it seems like he put his feet out a bit too early before his hands, and that's what ultimately let the TikTok run away from him. So that's going to put him on the board there. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of our kid males are going to follow.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he did what he could to really give himself some distance on the leaderboard. He got there very quick, and that's all you can really do on a placement course, especially at a stopgap like that.
Our first kid male runner down and out on the placement course. Let's see how our next one is going to be Ivan Up DeGraff out here on our course. Ivan, 4'6" in height, 4'4" in wingspan. Let's see how that comes to fare him on the placement course out here. He's a very determined and hard-working athlete from the St. Louis, or Lake St. Missouri, or Lake St. Louis, Missouri. Say that 10 times faster. I dare you.
All right. Well, he is pretty experienced in soccer and baseball, both sports that challenge the lower body. So that should be helpful here, especially on the spinning log, which we have seen can be a bit of trouble if you overlook it. But it's going to be down to his upper body as well. It's a challenge of multiple disciplines, but Ivan is up for the task, setting up for a link almost. But
yeah, I'm liking the early momentum carry through that we're seeing here from Ivan right now. Hoping to keep up this very solid pace at the minute. He's got 1:12 on the clock. He's going to set himself up to try and get ready for this long balance obstacle. Nice, very quick, scurrying feet across. Not a problem right now for our boy. Keeping very, very long ledges out here, trying to get these arms to extend all the way through. So he's able to pull on nicely. Tries to get down, but he's going to try again, and not a problem there.
Yeah, really had to stretch out there. Should be a little easier to carry his weight through and onto the TikTok. Ivan building it up now No kid male has beaten this so far, but there's only been 2 to go. So
Here we
Ivan
go,
could be the
Ivan.
first.
Trying his best. He's got a lot of momentum. Can he get the grab? Oh no! He nearly had it. You could see both of his hands on one side of that pole there. That was very, very close. I gotta see that again.
Yeah, he seemingly matched on his right, and I feel like he didn't get quite a sound enough grip, and he kind of twisted off as well. With such a narrow grip, it's easy to do that. Case in point, the corkscrew from A&W 12.
That was very, very, very harsh there. I think he should have had it. He nearly got it there. I think him just getting both of those hands on one side is an achievement in itself. I think that should have counted as a clear personally. But regardless, Jack Barnes, again coming out of Lake St. Louis, Missouri. He's going to give this course a very, very good shot. 4'7". He's going to try his best to move on through at a very solid pace here. Not a problem with these bars so far, trying to keep this momentum flowing forward.
Yeah, Jack, also one of our taller athletes, 4'7", wants to show up for his coach, Captain NBC, Jamie Ron, who recently announced his retirement from American Ninja Warrior.
Here we go. Makes a nice dismount here. A slow and steady approach across that log, but he's still on through, which is the good part.
Yeah, it was
trying his best to move on through. We haven't had a full clear yet from the kids male division, so I'm hoping that Jack can somehow break the mold here. He's moving at a very good pace. I'm hoping it can be achieved.
Yeah, his favorite obstacles are anything that involves swinging, so maybe that's a good omen here for the TikTok, but this is kind of a different type of swinging.
Yeah, full body control here. A lot of leg power going to have to be used. Is he going to have enough strength in his lower body to get enough momentum to jump over to that pipe? It's going to be a harsh one here. Let's see if he can get it. Oh, not enough height on that release there. That's going to put Jack Barnes in 3rd place so far. That's a very, very tough obstacle there.
Yeah, he had a lot of forward momentum for what it's worth, just not the height. And you need a little bit of both. It's like the Goldilocks zone, so to speak, but still a pretty good run to make it to the crux point. It doesn't come easy.
It really does not come easy. A lot of experience and power needed specifically for that TikTok obstacle. That's where the vast majority of the field have gone down here today. Now we have our final 4 athletes who are going to be taking on the kids male version of this placement course. First up is going to be Elijah Hugh.
Yep, Elijah. You know, running later on the placement course is a bit of an advantage in some respects. Obviously, it's all down to the luck of the draw. You know, when you're in Ninja for as long as you are, you sometimes will run early, sometimes will run late, but Elijah runs in the middle of the pack.
Here we go. Ooh, very, very nice quick motion across the quad steps right there, repping a mohawk, it looks like, as well. Love to see it. Elijah coming out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Not having a problem on these bars so far. Trying his best to carry that momentum forward. Going to be eyeing up that dismount, which he does correctly. Straight into the log, trying to not waste any time. Our fastest pace so far by a second and a half.
Yeah, and that's the advantage to running later, is that you know where to go, and you see a little gibbon there as well.
You can see Elijah really has a lot of trust in his abilities, which is something I really like to see out here. He's only age 6 for the season as well, so even though he doesn't have a lot of experience competing in leagues like this, it looks like he's still paying through it by a long while here. He's got 40 seconds left on the clock, trying to move ahead as best he can now. He's guaranteed at least second. Let's see if he can be the first person in the kids male division to break through the TikTok.
Yeah, with a couple more competitors coming up, we'd love to see him catch this, give himself some distance, and he's almost sideways relative to the crossbeam. Come on, Elijah. Commit. Commit.
There he goes. He's got a lot of height, and he holds it. This is very, very good, but time is ticking. He's got just about 10 seconds left now, and it looks like he's... Oh, the foot tap onto that platform. He did the hard part, but just the dismount is what got him. Unfortunate there for Elijah. We really had something going. Sadly, that's just going to be it.
Still, though, Elijah, the first kid male to catch the trapeze. He looked so strong that whole time. And sometimes on a placement course, you got to make a silly mistake and then lock in, focus up for the challenge course.
All right, here we go. We have our third to last competitor, Calvin Johnston, who has already qualified for the Premier Series Finals. Loves to get a bit of experience out here. He's wearing the Ninja U finalist shirt from last year, I believe, from Premier Series Finals that he would have collected at this place. Solid linking motion, carrying momentum with his legs at the back of him. This is very good so far.
Yeah, some bit of familiarity with this gym is going to go a long way. Calvin, oh no, he falls off the log!
Oh, mate. Oh, that's really, really sad. He was moving at a very, very solid pace there, too. Let's have a look at that again. He set himself up, but it just looks like one of those final steps is what did him in, and it tossed him completely off of that log, sadly. Only 16 seconds onto the course as well.
Yeah, he got one of his feet onto the platform, but as he was doing that, the other one came off, too. Such a shame, but still has one more course left to go, and we've seen that Calvin is a very strong and capable athlete, as evidenced by his Ninja U performance earlier this season.
That's going to be exciting to see, but currently Calvin's at the bottom of the leaderboard, which could mean if he stays that way, he'll be the first person running on the challenge course later on, which is going to be exciting to see, but also dangerous because he won't have as much time to learn about the obstacles if the females before him don't get that far. So he might have to carry the precedent for the kid males later on if he has to be the first runner. Unfortunate there for Calvin, though. We're going to be seeing him carry on through these courses at another time throughout this stream. But here we go with our penultimate competitor, Carson Daniel. This is his first year competing, and he's already here at the Premier Series. Now, Carson, it looks like, is one of our shortest athletes at 3'11" with a wingspan of 4 feet. So it's going to be harsh out here for him. But let's see how he can fare.
Yeah, so far so good through the steps. Now this is where he's really going to be tested. The laches going very forward thinking here as he carries some momentum forward into his next move.
Yeah, we can see Carson here, our little pocket rocket, move along a very fast pace here. He's not stopping for anything out here. Straight into the next few obstacles here. The frames. Oh, I like this. I'm liking the links here that we're seeing from Carson, really proving that 3'11" height is not something to be scoffed at here. Moving around onto the next lane, he's gonna get the dismount. 11.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. He's gonna be running later on the challenge course. Let's see if Carson can move through this TikTok. This is a very large gap, but he's already got a lot of momentum. Let's see how he can fare.
Yeah, Carson being so small, that allows him to tuck in, which is why you often see kids excel in sports like skateboarding and figure skating. But Carson, this is an entirely different method of attack, sort of hanging on the side and going for it, and he makes it!
He just needs to get the dismount platform. Can he get it? Yes, he can! Now here he goes, Carson. He hasn't got that much time left, but is he going to be able to move on through now? No! What happened there? That was really close.
Oh, he's looking at his hand. I wonder if he might have smacked it on something or maybe ripped. Felt the burning sensation of, you know, a blistered hand.
That was really, really unfortunate there. You could see... Oh, yeah, that wasn't a good landing either. You could see his arms were all over the place. But now we have our final runner now. It's going to be Logan Wilson. Going to be hoping to get our only clear of the kids male division right now, coming out of a fallen Missouri. Started Ninja in 2021. His most challenging obstacle type is campusing movements. So there's going to be a bit of that later on in the challenge course. But his favorite obstacle type is generating swing, but he couldn't get enough there, sadly. Logan Wilson, being our final runner on the placement course, is going to be our first on the challenge course. This is a rough time for him.
Logan. falling early, but we're seeing some of that generating swing expertise on full display with these orange slices. Nice little catch there.
Exactly, you can see him moving through at a very solid pace, but this is what it's going to look like here for our boys out here. No full clear, sadly, on the male side of things. Our first runner, though, which was Adeline Nichols on the kids' female side of things, was able to clear. So she has fully set the precedent for what was expected for these kids. Sadly, they weren't able to all get to the buzzer, but regardless, it's going to be a very, very fun time to see what they can do on the challenge course, where they have retries available and a lot more obstacles to take on. Kane, what are the thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, tough courses is kind of what we've come to expect out of Motus, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So it's a little bit fun, keeps us on our toes, and when someone does get through it, it's super exciting. In fact, Adeline has shown us some incredible girl power, so that's super great.
Indeed, she has. Hopefully that power from both the females and the males is going to be able to be carried on out here. Regardless, though, we have a lot more action to see throughout the entirety of this weekend. So if you thought that the action stopped here when it came to the Missouri qualifier out here at Motus, you'll be mistaken. We have 5 more divisions that are going to be insane to see throughout the entirety of this weekend. But we're going to take a short break so they can switch between the placement course and the challenge course here for our kids division. From Kane Malden and Billy Dixon, we will see you later. But here are our competition schedules for the next couple of days here. The mature kids are going to be starting at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
PM.
And preteens, yeah, PM, there we go. My time zones are getting screwed up a tiny bit. Preteens are going to start at 4 p.m. as well. So that's today's comps, and then we have more tomorrow. So we're going to be taking a short break in between placement and challenge. So we'll see you in a bit. Stay tuned.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Want to train like a pro? DGS Ninja has you covered with obstacles designed by top athletes. Kevin Carbone, Matt Bradley, Tom Alberti, and Brett Sims. Whether you're dialing in your technique at the gym or training at home, DGS Ninja equipment is built for performance, durability, and safety. Train with confidence. Train with DGS Ninja. Find obstacles, rigs, mats, and more on dgsninja.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my truck bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slab chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slab trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Here at Stage 4 Designs, we are all about innovation and athlete safety. We've been doing this since 2015, designing the most innovative obstacles in the sport, and now with our partnership with the World Ninja League, we are very excited to bring some of our best designs to the highest level athletes in the world. For our process, it all kind of starts right here in our digital design. There's a much more deliberate process now in what we do, with our goal being the utmost in athlete safety. So we put everything into our digital design first, make sure it's all going to work, then we procure the parts. We learned the process and refined it to what we feel are some of the highest quality urethane products you're going to find in the Ninja space, and that all happens here at our custom-built workbench. A lot goes into our urethane, and we are very proud of the work that we do there. Everything that we build here at Stage 4 is all custom made in-house. It's not like we have a stock of a bunch of stuff. So when you do place an order with us, that order comes through and we basically build everything from scratch. Paint department is scalable. We basically hand paint most things, but some things that require a little bit more spray or bigger, we're capable of that as well. These athletes put these obstacles through some of the most rigorous circumstances that you can think of, and we want to try to plan for every contingency. We never want an obstacle to break on anybody. We always want our stuff to feel solid and not move around a whole lot, so that the athletes can trust their skills to throw the biggest moves that they possibly can on anything that we put out there. Our CNC machine handles all of most of our flat goods. It's the workhorse around here. It actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of cutting things out. We don't do any of our flat goods by hand. We make sure that everything is exactly the same and replicable, so that, you know, if you're doing courses or you have athletes that are going either head to head or the same obstacle that you're going to find at one Ninja gym is going to feel exactly the same if you go to another Ninja gym or your home for that matter, so that there's consistency with all of our product. Over the years, as we've added to our suite of products that we offer, we've realized that pipe and metalworking is becoming more and more commonplace in Ninja obstacles, and to meet that demand, we've added the ability to do that here as well. So a lot of the obstacles that you'll see that we design and develop are meant to go on truss, and pipes are a big part of that. So we've added a pipe bending station here, and look for, in the future, us to offer a lot more innovative obstacles that kind of exist in that space where pipes are a big part of it. So here, everything that we put out is tested by real ninjas before it goes out. We want to make sure that our obstacles can stand all sorts of unforeseen circumstances. We know that Ninja athletes move in ways that are innovative and new, and we want to try to account for as many of those as we can and make sure that those obstacles hold up. So we test everything. Over the last 10 years, Stage 4 Designs has been committed to developing the most innovative obstacles that you're going to find, but also the safest and most reliable obstacles. Our motto here is elevating obstacles. We do feel that on this platform, we can take something that's both fun and creative, but also elevate it to an industry that deserves to stand on its own.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the WNL Premier Series Season 4 qualifier out here at Motus Ninjas in Lee Summit, Missouri. My name is Billy Dixon. I am joined alongside Kane Malden here today. We just wrapped up our placement course. What's the verdict, Kane? It was a brilliant one.
Yeah, it challenged, I want to say, all of our kids' athletes. Only Adeline was able to finish the placement course, which is just absurd. We don't see placement courses that give our athletes trouble too often these days. So to see it going into this challenge course, I wonder how our athletes are going to adapt given the new challenges and the new rule format. I guess it's not that new, but, you know, different, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it is a very different format compared to what the placement course has to offer, purely because it is allowing retries on 2 obstacles at the maximum, depending on what your course run entails as. It's going to be very exciting. Hello there, whoever just waved, shout out to you. We have our 10 athletes here in the kids division that are going to be running our obstacle course here for the amazing Motus challenge course that we have going for us. It's going to be a very, very exciting time.
Yeah, first 7 obstacles on display there. If you were astute and looked at the World Ninja League channel, actually, you would have seen the challenge course rules, which show off all of the obstacles that are going to be depicted here. Hopefully we can get a look at the full course in all of its glory, but 3:30, I wonder how strict or how lenient that time limit's going to be. Motus isn't really known for its lenient challenge course time limits. I believe we saw Tyler Smith last year on the challenge course lose out on getting a buzzer by 1 or 2 seconds.
I think it was less than that, bro. I think it was like basically in the decimals at that point. I remember it was an insane, a massive difficulty spike in terms of that. So now we're going to be having our demo run out here. So we have follow the green out there, and then balance more, please, followed by the bows. These were present on stage 2 years ago at the 2025 World Championships. Love to see them included here at Motus. We then have the key lock, which were in the stage 3 of last year's finals at Greensboro, where we have descending key locks. I can only assume that for the later divisions, you're going to have to move with the key locks and not have them move out, which these kids do need to be careful of and put the weight down on the correct areas of the obstacle so they don't do that. We have the jump slide. That looks insanely fun. I'm just going to be honest there. That looks fire.
Yeah, any obstacle that has like parkour elements looks super engaging to watch and probably very fun for the athletes. See a few Bosu balls there. And then an obstacle reminiscent from Sasuke, the swing edge.
Now, it's important to note that Donovan Matoya, one of our course designers out here, recently went to Japan to train with some of the best athletes in the game, one of those being Yusuke Morimoto, who's won Sasuke twice. And it's great to see some of the obstacles that are in the show here present in Premier Series, kind of dating back to where Ninja all began in Japan. And now they are on the octopus out here, which is our 7th obstacle.
Yeah, you can see here the octopus. I believe this was used as the stage 1 finisher this year in the Tier 1 championships. Interesting to see it come back once more. Then we have, the katanas. Yes, this is bringing back some flashbacks.
Indeed so. So our kids here, they have 2 katanas here, so they're going to be swinging to crooked cliffs, it looks like, which should be quite a quick and painless obstacle, but that is saying if you don't have like a massive pump in your forearms. Now, this is an interesting one. We have some sky hooks, obviously, but we don't utilize rings until a little bit later on, so we're brachiating through a couple of them at the moment, and then we're going to be utilizing some with air movement in the middle of the obstacle here. So going across to the second truss there, and then moving along on some swinging sky hooks here, it looks like, to go all the way down to the end of it. And now here are the final 2 obstacles, I believe, the first of which being a very long cliffhanger line.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone could get through this, I feel like it would be our kids who can just hang for days given how light they are. But I guess we'll find out. This does look like a very, very exhausting series of obstacles.
Indeed so, and that is going to be our final obstacle to round things out on our challenge course here at Motus. It's going to be a very, very exciting time. A very good string of obstacles there. I'm liking the representation of like many eras of Ninja. We have some solid steps to start some things out. We then have some Sasuke representation with the swing edge that's probably going to be updated to be how it is on the show later on in the weekend. And then we also have some like DGS type obstacles with the katanas and the key locks and everything. So now, here we go with our first athlete here. It's going to be Elliot Phillips on the challenge course out here. It's going to be a very, very exciting time. We're going to get a couple more words from Coach over there. Elliot coming out of Leeds Summit, Missouri. She has crowned 2 World Championship qualifiers, earned spots in back-to-back seasons. She's the 2-timed, she's been on the Heartland Region All-Star team twice as well. We don't see much All-Star representation like spoken out, so I'm glad someone has put that out there. Love to see it. And she's a multi-time regional competitor with consistent top placements at qualifying events, and hopefully this is going to be one of them. Now, for the kid female specifically, because we have 3 of them as opposed to more than 4, the kid female athletes are going to be forced to get past the 4th obstacle, or is it 3rd?
Yeah, you have to get past the 3rd.
Yeah, there we go. So here we go. Elliot Phillips starting things out on our challenge course, our first challenge course runner of the entire weekend here at Motus Ninjas. And here we go. We are on balance more, please. And we have the obstacle names on the thing. That's fire. I love that. And then we have the bows coming along through here. We got 3 minutes and 30 seconds as the full course time limit. It looks like we have 10 obstacles in total. So it's not the longest challenge course. I think last week at Australian Warrior Fitness, down in Australia, it was the longest qualifier challenge course with around 13, 14 obstacles. So they're reeling it back a bit here for Motus, but the obstacles, they're very full obstacles. You know, they have a lot to offer.
Yeah, from here, you got to swing down the key locks here. It's not as simple as you would think. As you can see there, the handle comes out of its socket. And now this is where it gets tricky. You got to put it back in its resting place, which Elliot has done. Credit where credit is due.
Here she goes. She's trying her best to make sure that doesn't happen again, hopefully. And she's down onto the next obstacle, which is the jump slide. This one looks insanely fun. You got to jump off of a slanted volume on the wall, and it looks like she slipped off of it. So it looks like you're going to have to move across that volume at a very fast pace, which she's done, and she tried to get the jump, but sadly she couldn't get it, and that's going to be the run over for Elliot Phillips. She is still qualified for the Premier Series Finals, which is brilliant to see, but that's going to start things out. Look at that key lock recovery, though. That was nearly a catastrophe.
Yeah, that was a crazy save, and honestly, super impressive. I know our kids can hang on one arm, you know, given how small they are and how little they weigh. So using the strengths that you are given biologically to help yourself get through the obstacle.
Now that we can see what the obstacles are like in the first half of the course, let's see if our next 2 athletes in the kids female division are able to follow through at that pace or better. Lila Sherman, going to be the first one out here, our fastest non-finisher on the placement course from earlier. 4'4", has started she's been doing Ninja for 2 years, started in 2024. Energetic 8-year-old from Orlando, Florida, coming out of Obstacle Ninja Academy down there. When she's not training there, we can usually find her playing with her friends or spending time with her favorite animals, her dog Ollie and her cat Ashton, who was named after one of the Ninja kids who we see on A&W sometimes, which is fire. Outside of Ninja, Lila loves searching for sea glass at the beach, arts and crafts, and scavenger hunts at Fort Wilderness. Her positive attitude, determination, and love for fun make her a joy to be around both on and off the course. But we're on the course right now, so let's see how she can fare coming into these bows, utilizing the middle slot there. I'm liking that.
Yeah, nice grip there to really dig your fingers around. And Layla, if she can land this dismount, is going to the Premier Series finals. But she's still got a long way to go and 3 minutes to do it, starting with the key lock. Now, we saw with Elliot that if you're not delicate enough, then those handles will get yanked out of where they stand. And as you can see there...
Bro, you need to stop speaking these things into existence, I tell you. What are you doing? Here we go. It's a very, very difficult one. I was just about to say it. You don't want to be too lenient on your backswings there on how much you do. Okay. It's a scary one. That made me jump, honestly. Okay, so Lila here was initially 2.5 seconds ahead of Elliot to this point, but now she's going to have to take a retry here on the challenge course. Let's see if she can be a bit more delicate, try and not pull out. There's a lot of momentum coming. Hopefully it doesn't transfer backwards-wise. Trying her best to pull on through, and she gets the descent. Lovely.
Yeah, much cleaner, but still behind Elliot, so she's going to have to beat this obstacle, which she does have 2 attempts to do, and she is further along than Elliot.
This is good right now. We can see Lila coming along through over to the swing edge, our first athlete to take this on. So it's important to know our athletes are going to try and not use the green here because of the fact that they are smaller athletes overall. So their wingspans might not be able to reach out to the green cliff type areas. But she's got the 3rd edge. And now here she goes. Currently in first place, hoping to keep this up, moving into the octopus.
Yeah, octopus, a few simple swings through. I know in the Tier 1 championships, you had to hook a cane through it. Far cry from where we are here. But still, Layla gotta stay consistent here. Make these big moves. This 3rd one does not swing freely, so it's going to be a big transfer.
Here we go. Nice. Gets the lache over there. On to the 8th obstacle out of 10 now, which is going to be the blades out here, also otherwise known as the katanas. But here where they go, they are easier than how they were at the World Championships, I think.
But no doubt.
For the kids here, they're going to be utilizing these cliffs at angles, which are still very difficult, especially when you've been hanging for such a long time. Just like that, sadly. So on that final cliff, she peeled out there. So our Layla is going to have to give it a second go. This is a final retry now.
All right, taking a moment to shake out, but looks like she's ready to try this one more time. I think she can do it, but catching it angled is so tense. It's almost like a paddle cliff, but not as aggressive. Layla catches it on the 2nd try, though.
Lovely. Okay, now we're getting to the end of our course here. We're going to move on to the hip hop, which is our big skyhook configuration. Let's see how she fares on our right side of the screen. You can see her try to move forward here. It's a very difficult one to maneuver across properly because your lower body is going to be swinging in so many different ways. You kind of need to even yourself out, but sadly, she isn't going to be able to get the lache, and that's going to be it for Layla's run, but still incredible.
Yeah, got super far on the course. 2nd to last obstacle. Just so much perseverance that whole time. We saw that little misstep on the key lock, and she didn't let it stop her in her tracks. Looked so much cleaner on that 2nd try. And then being the first one up on so many of these obstacles, she looked so strong.
That was a very, very good way to carry on through our challenge course. But now, we got a very, very good opportunity for a clear, because Adeline Nichols is going to be moving on through our challenge course as our final kids female runner of the day now. She's been doing Ninja since 2020, which means she's been doing Ninja since she was 2, which is crazy to think about because she's 8 years old now for the season. So that's like 2 or 3 years old she started out, which is
It says on the
really,
bio,
really cool.
she's been doing it for 6 years since she was 3, and we're seeing some of that experience there. Look how quickly she sprinted through the first obstacle.
Here she goes, Adeline, getting a nice solid grab onto that 2nd bow. I'm loving this very fast-paced 10 seconds flat ahead of the rest of the field now, and she is in the Premier Series finals by default here. But now how's she going to go on the key lock? Our past 2 competitors have had trouble here.
Okay, yeah. When you're grabbing onto that handle, you kind of want to grab it right as your forward momentum wraps up, and Adeline, or Adeline, sorry. Force of habit, I'm sorry.
This is great. Here we go, Adeline. Move along through 30.5 seconds ahead of Lila here. So now she's going to have 2.5 minutes as she moves across these Bosu balls as she takes a massive run over to the swing edge.
Yep, grabbing the sides there to not stretch out as much, matching on that second one. Then comes the grab to this plexiglass series of holes. Adeline looking like a beast here. Ultimate Adeline into the octopus.
She's done many things throughout her ninja career. She is number 2 in the WNL power rankings as well, which is madness. Not many people can say that. She was the number 1 seed in head-to-head. Earlier this year, she trains at Ultimate Ninjas St. Louis and The Barn. Shout out the Folsoms out there. They have a dog named Dallas because that's the city where she won the World Championships. She's the youngest of 3 sisters who do the sport. She also does gymnastics and she plays soccer. I'd say football personally, but you know, Brit type stuff there. She's been to 30 states, mostly to compete for Ninja. Even though she's only 9, she frequently gets asked to lift if she lifts weights because a lot of these ninjas out here are very, very strong. And let's see that strength be used here on the blades.
Yeah, Adeline got to dig deep on these ledges, and she catches it. First try, Adeline has won the competition, has 1:10 to this point. So she has the time to get through this, but cannot take a retry. These obstacles take so long to beat.
This is brilliant so far. She's got 1 minute for 2 obstacles, but these are 2 of the hardest obstacles on the whole course out here. Adeline trying her best. Nice match there. I'm loving this so far. Now she's going to reach out to where the rings are going to be in play, and now the sky hooks are also going to be utilized too. Let's see how she can fare here. Trying to get a solid flow here, which she's trying to, but it's really hard to once you're at a weird angle, which you will be by default a lot of times on this obstacle, but that doesn't phase Adeline at all.
Yep, using kind of the axis of the hooks to carry herself to those swinging independent hooks. Adeline is getting hung up here with 15 seconds to go, and she goes for an early dismount.
Nice. Okay, but we have 10 seconds left for these cliffhangers. Let's see how far she can get into the obstacle. Oh, man. Unfortunate, just a quick whiff of the hand, but you really had no other choice if you really wanted to go that fast. She's going to wing it, send it. Here she goes, trying her best on that cliff, but sadly it looks like the grip just gave out at the end of the course. But still, Adeline Nichols comes on through. Absolutely incredible. One of the best runs we've seen all of the kids' divisions throughout the Premier Series this year. Wow.
Such an impressive run. It's kind of crazy how from competitor to competitor, we saw the distance and progress on the course ramp up just that much more. Making the skyhook jump on your first go is no easy task. Staggering it to the beat of the drum, Adeline has won the competition just like that, going 2 for 2 in her Premier Series qualifier run.
That's absolutely brilliant. Not many people can say that about themselves, particularly this early on in their kids' division lives out here. They can only go up from here. But now we're going to be having a look at our 7 kid male athletes. Now, because there are 7 of them, unlike the kids' females, they are going to have to battle it out for the top 4 positions out here so they can go to the Premier Series finals out to Ascend in Marlborough, Massachusetts, which is going to be very, very fun to see. We didn't see any clears on the placement course when it came to the male side of things, sadly. So hopefully now we've seen nearly a clear, courtesy of Adeline, on the female side of things. So let's hope that we're going to be hopeful in these lads here to see what they can do and achieve on this challenge course. I'm excited for them.
Yeah, now something to note is that Calvin Johnston already qualified at Ninja U, so should he land in the top 4, it will be passed down to the number 5 slot, just to make sure everyone gets a chance. And honestly, the competitor to look out for, in my mind, would, the standout is definitely Carson. He almost finished, was the only one to make it through the TikTok, which is no easy task, especially at his size and frame. He was able to throw himself across the gorge. So we'll see if this is a bridge too far, or if Carson can beat the odds by defeating the Motus challenge course, which is no easy task. In fact, I don't think anyone beat the challenge course last year.
I don't even think it was possible the year before that either. I might be wrong. But I definitely remember in the Elite Division specifically that the one at Motus in Season 2 was definitely a tricky one.
I know in Season 2, Season 2 had a couple finishers in the youth divisions particularly, but Season 3 had no finishers at all.
That was insane to see, especially because there were so many seasoned athletes, including probably a few of these kids out here that we're going to be seeing here today on the kids division and the mature kids division, because surely some of the people who were in kids last year have grown up since then and have gone into the mature kids division too. Regardless, though, in terms of the field that we have today, we're going to be starting out with Logan Wilson, who sadly took a fall on the Lachey's, was it? At the beginning of the course, sadly.
Yeah.
So that landed him first running on the challenge course here. But that was sadly, to line things up correctly, though, he was the last person to run the placement course, and he's going to be the first person to run the challenge course. So that means he wouldn't have had a lot of time to rest up compared to the other athletes here who may have gotten later on in the leaderboard and have ran earlier in the run order. So we're going to be seeing how that affects our athletes here. But Logan has been doing Ninja since he was 4 years old, so he's got a lot of experience on his hands here. He loves having fun with different obstacles and creating challenges, and outside of Ninja, he loves being outdoors, especially catching frogs.
Interesting.
Let's see if he can bound across the course like he's got the legs of one. I'm excited to see if he can do that.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch. We really didn't get to see a good look of what Logan is made of on the placement course, and that's just what happens with a placement course. Sometimes you make a little silly mistake, but that is what the challenge course is for. The placement course ultimately has no bearing on if you actually qualify or not. It can help, but it has no direct correlation, which is interesting.
It is a very interesting prospect in the grand scheme of things on how so much can change throughout the entirety of a competition like this. Logan's going to have to set the precedent for our male athletes, though. I'm really hoping we get to see a clear early on within the weekend to see if we can break the Motus curse in these qualifiers out here. So Logan Wilson is going to be moving along through here, and he's moving at a very efficient pace at the moment, trying to bound across these obstacles like the frogs that he loves to catch too. He's trying his best to gain the momentum back and forth here.
All right, Logan, these bows, you have to build up a lot of swing, especially given our competitor's height. He got his hand on the bow, but couldn't match.
I like the Gibbon idea that he had going on there, but sadly he's going to have to use his first retry quite early on in the course. So let's see if Logan Wilson can move along through here. He's going to try his best to carry on. Here he goes. Can he get it?
Yeah, I can't help but feel that Logan, it might be beneficial for him if he moves a little bit further up. It'll lessen the distance that he has to cover.
Here he goes, trying his best to Gibbon on through. He nearly had it, but the one-handed grab was sadly too much for him. And Logan is sadly going to not be able to move on through the rest of this course here, which is unfortunate because what could have been, man.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate the bravery of going for that move, period. Because sometimes when you're young, when you're doing Ninja, confidence is the biggest hurdle. And fortune favors the bold. But Calvin Johnston, someone who is already qualified, just playing for experience, I guess.
Here he goes, wants to get as much experience as he can before moving on to the Premier Series Finals. This is wise for him, honestly, because Ninja U was the first qualifier of the entire season. So seeing Calvin out here really shows that he's dedicated to the sport of Ninja, and he's trying to move on through these obstacles and get the experience necessary at such a young age moving into these courses that he's going to be taking on throughout his entire life. Here he goes, Calvin. He's got the front-facing part of the bow, which means it was kind of tilting on the front side. But here he goes, 3 minutes on the clock as he's trying to get to the third one here. Oh, no, he's not. That's the wrong time. Here he goes. So now he's passed the second obstacle that took out Logan before him. And now here he goes onto the key lock.
Yeah, we saw with our kids female that you can't be aggressive here. Got to be as quiet as a mouse here. Make sure nothing stirs a foot, and you will be on your way. One more handle left to go for Calvin. There we go.
Nice, putting as little pressure as he can on those handles. So now Calvin Johnston is going to be directed towards that trampoline. He's going to take a moment to stay on it for a minute. And he's got to the ring. Not a problem here. 2 minutes. Ooh, sadly, he's not going to be able to get there the first time around. And now, how's he going to fare? He's going to go back to the beginning of the track and try and conserve his momentum. But because he already had a bit of a sideways swing, it's hard for him to reach out at this point. A tactical retry is what he's going to do here.
Yeah, in some cases, such as that, when you're in no man's land, it can actually be beneficial to drop because it's better to just try it again and hopefully get a better swing going than hang for 30 seconds on end, burn energy. Calvin, there we go. Much better on the second try.
This is very good. Gets onto that Bosu ball and sprints across there. Happy to be off of that one. Moving on to the swing edge. He's going to opt out of some chalk. How is he going to fare? Nice. Grabbing the black of it all here. That's not a problem for our shorter athletes because they can't necessarily have the most comfortable positions there if they're grabbing onto the green cliffs on the side. But here he goes, Calvin. Trying his best to move on through.
Oh,
ooh, nice. Going for only one. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I believe we saw that in the 2023 Stage 2 with a similar obstacle where some of our teams would try to match on one side so they wouldn't have to reach as far. Calvin, great innovation to see here, but Octopus, this is a fundamental ninja skill. The laches from hold to hold, he's carrying plenty of speed from Octopus Calamari to Calamari.
This is good right now. He's having a lot of momentum, but the time is ticking. I'm a bit wary of. He's trying to get as many backswings as he can. It seems like he's trying to find the right time to go, which he does, and he gets the grab. 30 seconds, though, for these next 3 obstacles is something I'm a bit wary of.
Yeah, and these obstacles take quite a bit to get through, so I think what he's got to be looking at this point is potentially just getting this 1 point, which he can still do, but he can't take a retry.
Here he goes. He's got 10 seconds, though. It's going to be a tight one to get down to that platform. Can he get it? Yes, he does in one swing. He's got 5 seconds left for the hip-hop now, but I don't know how far he's going to get through into it. 1 second ticks down. He was moving very fast, but he just goes for it, and sadly, that's his time done. Calvin Johnston, incredible stuff.
Yeah, really using every ounce of energy in the tank, as well as every second on the clock. Motus doesn't let up with its time limits. It just shows how fast you need to go, but Calvin put up a good fight.
Indeed, he did. It was a very incredible run there, trying to adapt to as many difficulties as possible that he was facing. Regardless, though, it's going to be very cool to see how the rest of these athletes can match that, because Calvin Johnston has already qualified, so he's not going to be taking one of the top 4 positions if he needs to eventually. But we're going to be seeing now if the rest of our kids' males are going to be able to match that performance, starting out with Jack Barnes.
Yeah, Jack, I believe starting with him, all these competitors made it to the TikTok. In fact, I believe the margins that separated them from, I believe, 5th to 2nd was only about 2 or 3 seconds. So very tight competition. Jack Barnes gonna see if he can beat out the rest.
Right, then here he goes, trying to get a solid hand position so he can get enough momentum moving across. Trying his best to keep that sideways momentum, kind of like a wingnut style. Now, how's his lache going to be? Going to try his best to move on through here. having a bit of trouble there trying to find the right time to move, and he couldn't get enough distance, sadly, so Jack Barnes going to have to try this again.
Yeah, I think the best course of action is probably to go, I guess, mixed grip, for lack of a better word, because it allows you to swing more forward than side to side. It's much easier to build up momentum that way, and he's still going for the wingnut approach. Interesting. Will it pay off this time? It won't!
Oh, sadly, no. That's not going to be the way it goes for Jack, sadly. That's a really, really tough move, all things considered. I mean, with your body moving across at such a weird angle, it's hard to carry that momentum forward when you don't have much height already developed on your body. So sadly, that's not going to put Jack in the best of positions, but we're going to see how it fares down to our remaining athletes. Now, the point from here is that with every athlete, we're going to be locking in at least one person for the Premier Series finals, unless it's Calvin Johnston, and then it will be moving down a peg. So let's see if Ivan here is going to try his best to move on through.
Yeah, let's see what he's made of. Lake St. Louis, Missouri. Bit of a tongue twister, but has developed a passion for ninja training, constantly challenging himself to be stronger and faster. So putting that challenge to the ultimate test in the form of one of the hardest challenge courses that you could ever face. Ivan makes the grab.
Yes! There he goes. He's avenged Jack and Logan. Let's see how he can fare. Moving along through here. 3 minutes now, as he tries to scurry away through up onto the key locks now. He needs to make sure he doesn't put a lot of weight and pressure on the key locks as he's moving down, because they are very sensitive. If you pull down on them, if they're too far back, then they might come undone there. So you can see, just like that, sadly, Ivan, fortunately, locks it back in at a relatively quick pace.
Yeah, I saw he tried to do a pullback on those handles, and the torque just yanked it out of the socket, but Ivan still makes it through regardless. Now faces jump slide. We see here, oh, he goes straight into the ring.
Straight into it and catches it. That's one of the flashiest attempts we've seen of that so far. I'm loving this from Ivan right now, trying to gain as much time as possible as he can on the other competitors in the field. 29 seconds ahead of Calvin here as he moves on into the swing edge.
Yeah, beating that in one try with no stint in no man's land is going to do him wonders. One backswing is not enough, though, on the swing edge. He's going to have to spin it back.
He's going to chalk up a wise decision to make at this point in the course. He's over halfway. His hands are going to start to dry up here. So he's going to try and use his chalk to his advantage as he goes for the Y grab, which he's got.
Yep, these ledges have a lot of lip to them, but he can't match on the final
one.
one.
To be the demise of Ivan, sadly. He was trying to go for one hand on that left-hand side grab, but sadly it just wasn't going to be enough. Fortunately, though, that puts Ivan in a spot for the Premier Series Finals, which is brilliant.
Yeah, very great run. Doing the jump slide as it was meant to be done. The swing edge takes no mercy on our competitors, though. Regardless, it will be enough for a Premier Series Finals slot. So kudos to Ivan there.
Our final 3 competitors now beckon for the Motus challenge course out here for our qualifier in Missouri. Elijah Hoog coming in first here, age 6, coming out of Blue Springs. It's going to be an interesting one here. Can he fare well on the bows? Not many have done so today, but
Ooh.
Elijah holds no problem for it.
Making that look so easy as well. He set his legs back when he caught the second bow, enabling him to easily find the dismount platform. A whopping 11 seconds ahead of the curve set by Calvin Johnston.
Here he goes. Elijah going to try his best. I like the lock-off strategy, so he has even more control of the keys. Okay, he's ejected it. Let's see if he can get it back in. This is a very difficult situation to be in because both him and the pad are swinging. Can he get it back in? He's really trying here. Come on, Elijah. Yes, nice. He kind of reeled it back in, but now it's gone again.
Yeah, it's tough to get it in a comfortable place when there's so little room for the key lock, and he takes possibly a tactical reset to hopefully get a better shake of things on his second go.
Here he goes again. He's used up just over a minute of his time now. I can see the grimace in his face slightly. This isn't the place where he wants to go out. Yeah, he's trying his best to whittle his way over to the other side of that key lock. He's got it back in, but he really needs to focus now. He needs to try and swing as little as possible as he moves on through, keeping it focused, holding it down well, and he's through it.
All right, Elijah was able to bring it back there, which is good to see. Still remaining in third place. The jump slide beckons. He steadies himself on the trampoline. Let's see if he can find that ring. He does. And here comes the Bosu balls, which is quite honestly the simple part here.
He's having a bit of trouble trying to get to it, though. It seems like he's in a bit of a circular motion, trying to move along through. A minute 25, jumping into the swing edge, but couldn't get a jump into it. He just kind of fell through. So now Elijah's going to use his final retry.
Yeah, and that makes his situation a little tenuous here, because falling on the mount is only going to give him one try here. One shot. Make it count, Elijah. Come on.
No! Unfortunately, the final grab on the swing edge is not going to be the way it moves for him, sadly. And that's going to be it there for Elijah. Put in a very good effort. He had been hanging for a while, to be fair, on both the key lock and the jump start. But the swing edge was ultimately his demise at the very end. He was feeling confident, though, up until that final part where he just peeled off.
At the very least, though, he is in third place, and with Calvin already guaranteed a slot, that means he is going to the Premier Series Finals, as Jackson, our penultimate run here in the kids division, stands before the Motus Challenge course.
Here he goes. Lake St. Louis, Missouri is where he's representing out here. He's getting ready to go. He's age 7, has competed 5 times throughout the season. And Jackson Binder is going to be getting ready to go here. 3 minutes and 20 seconds as he moves on through into the bows. Gets a big jump trying to get into it, carrying as much momentum as he can.
Yeah, going towards the front as well. I was talking about this. If you're going to go side to side, that is going to help you go the distance, get onto that second bow, and get through it with a one-handed save at that.
That was a very, very tough one. But now he's going to move on to the key locks now. This is a very difficult one, as we've seen. Many people have gotten hung up on this throughout the day so far. Jackson is hopefully going to be the first one to not do that.
Yeah, almost getting a feel for it as he was steadying himself. He drops the back one. I guess if you were going to lose any, it probably should be that one.
Here he goes. 2 minutes and a half now as he makes the descent off of the key lock. I think that's one of the first few people to not use a retry on that obstacle. Going to take a bit of a pause before going into the jump slide. Can he reach out? Yes, he can. Not a problem. He needs to center himself for the Bosu balls.
Okay, looking comfortable so far, but he's got to keep on and carry on. Jackson, the swing edge, does not let up either. Requires such a wide grip as you catch these lipped cliffhanger-esque ledges. This first one hasn't been a problem too much.
Okay, his lower body was kind of in an unorthodox position as he was swinging to it, but he salvaged it well. Can he get it the same again? Yes, he can. Gets both hands on each of the holds now and dismounts accordingly. He is the fastest to this point here, which means he has a good opportunity to steal the top spot from Calvin.
Yeah, but he's got to keep moving, not use a retry, because the time limit is starting to creep up. A minute 25. Got to minimize the amount of backswings, build it up fast, and he tries to jump the gun, but comes up short.
I appreciate the send there, trying to put his upper body as far forward as possible and his legs far back as possible. He just needs to get that with a little more power, and then he should have it if he wanted that same beta to be moved here. His body is swaying a lot here on these massive swings. Maybe one more lâché. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Forces himself into it, which is good.
Okay, got to keep moving. A minute just under as he makes the grab, hopefully onto the static one. Got to keep the pressure on, but
just
where
didn't have
balls? Oh,
Jackson Binder sadly going out on the octopus there. Very, very, it's a difficult one. A lot of these obstacles really do require a lot of swing, which is honestly a lot of these athletes' favorite type of movements. But when they're doing it a lot, particularly on the key locks flowing along through, and the slider includes a swing, and then the swing edge is in the name of it all, the octopus is including it too, it can get a bit much. So unfortunately, that's going to be it for our penultimate runner, Jackson Binder. But now we have our final runner, the Pocket Rocket 3'11" powerhouse, Carson Daniel. It's his first year competing. His home gym is Motus, so he's got that. He loves to practice daily on his home gym. He's also an indoor rock climber, which should help him in the grand scheme of things. When he isn't on the obstacles, he loves to visit national parks and has already visited 22 of them. And he's starting his debut season with a massive goal to one day climb the stage 4 rope on the A&W television show. So he's going to try and get one step closer to achieving that dream here at Motus. And he's moving like he could take home the $1 million right now, dude.
okay. Well, now he's a little twisted in the paracord of this ripping bow, but Carson is able to save it, get onto the 4th obstacle. This might be where the frame plays to his disadvantage. Just reaching out is going to be a challenge for Carson, but now he's going to get going.
At the starting position, he kind of needed to fall into it due to his height there. But regardless, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Carson's moving through at a very solid pace at the minute. He's looking to take home first here, which is currently belonging to Calvin Johnston out here, who made it to the skyhook obstacle. But Carson is moving at the fastest pace so far, 7 seconds ahead of first place to this point. It's going to be a tough one here. It looks like he's also already got a spot in Premier Series Finals cemented now. He's guaranteed at least 3rd on the podium, so that's good, but we know that Carson is going to be wanting that first place spot.
Yeah, he wants a crisp taste of gold here. Catches onto that final one as the plexiglass glistens in the gem light. Carson, here we go.
Going to try his best to get through the octopus now. This is one that Jackson Binder, our last athlete, went out on. But Carson trying to throw his body into these holes is working out incredibly well here. 1:40 as he goes to the second one. He comes up just short. Here is his first retry being used.
Yeah, I saw him, I believe, try to bring his body back to maybe link one backswing into the static sort of octopus. But Carson doing a little bit of a whiff. Can't do that again. But
he's trying to keep as much momentum as he can. Moving into these. Can he keep it going, though? He's flailing his body across the gym. Can he get the grab? He can't, sadly. And that's it for Carson. Claps himself. He knows he's done a very, very good job there. And he's through to Premier Series Finals regardless. So that's something to be very proud of.
Wow. So no finishers once again in the kids division. Wow, but not due to a lack of effort. Just look at that run from Carson and the runs from the many who competed today so far. Adeline, again, running away with the best run of the kids division as a whole. The double champ does what the double champ wants.
That was an incredible round of kid talent for both the female side and the male side. Well done to all 3 of our female athletes being able to qualify for the Premier Series Finals. We also had 4 of our kids' male athletes joining. It looked like our amazing Calvin Johnston out there getting first place, but he's already qualified, so that means everyone from 2nd to 5th is going to be able to qualify for the Premier Series Finals. So shout out to Carson, Jackson, Ivan, and Elijah for getting those Premier Series finalist slots. And that is going to wrap up our first weekend here. We're going to have a replay of our 2 best athletes from the female and male divisions respectively. Kane, that was a brilliant way to start things out.
Yeah, our only buzzer as a whole in the kids division we just saw from Adeline. In general, wow, I'm just blown away by the ninja talent that we see time and time again in Premier Series. Motus, they always just set up something insane. We can actually see Donovan Matoya right there, one of the maniacs responsible for the course you see before us. Maniac in the best way possible, I promise, Donovan.
Indeed so. That goes for all three of our course designers, Donovan, Nam, and TJ. They're doing incredible jobs throughout the entirety of this weekend, and we can have more ninja action coming this weekend your way. We've got the mature kids that are coming up next in about an hour, it looks like, which is going to be very cool to see. We have got the preteens following at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 3 p.m. local. Sunday, the action continues where we have the teens starting things out at 10:30 Eastern, the amateurs at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then our elite division to end things out at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be an incredible weekend filled with action in the Heartland region. From Kane Morgan and Billy Dixon, we will see you guys later for some more Premier Series action out of Motus. We'll see you soon.
Seconds, push hard. Oh.